In this particular activity system worksheet, you're going to start brainstorming ideas for your discourse community and how this community is mapped out. And so we have here at the top are the tools. So tools can be particular genres, like particular types of genres that are commonly used within this community. It can be particular software that's used. It can be actual technologies that are used. It can be particular theories or concepts that are typically used, right? So a tool basically can be something material, right? So it's something you can touch, or something intellectual. So intellectual, again, can be particular theories, formulas, genres. The research article, the lab report, for instance, would be common tools used in the sciences. And then describe the tool that you plan to focus on. So a particular tool perhaps that you find interesting about this particular discourse community. So we're just beginning this stage of trying to make sense of your discipline, trying to make sense of a component of this vast discourse community, and something that you kind of imagine yourself participating in the future, or maybe participating in now is great. And so I'm going to move over here to the right. So the motive is what is the, so basically what are the goals, right? What are the objectives? What motivates people? And what are the outcomes? Like, how do you know if people are meeting those goals? All right, so thinking about members of this particular discourse community. We come to division of labor and how is labor divided. So when we think about a football team, we think about the quarterback. He's the person that throws the ball. We think about the running back or the receiver, the ones that catch the ball. The offensive line protects the quarterback. Right? And so when we think about perhaps a science lab, you think about the principal investigator, and then you can imagine the research assistants. So that's one particular example. You can think of hospitals in terms of that particular community. You can think of a classroom in terms of how teachers and students interact and how labor is divided there. And then community, so what actually constitutes a community? So like, how do you know you're in a community? So how is that particular community defined? In sororities and fraternities, for instance, there are certain rituals that need to be completed, or certain benchmarks that need to be completed to be part of that community. Others, it's just you merely pay a membership fee and you're part of a community, right? So communities definitely vary significantly. For others, you need a PhD, or you need an MD. You need a certain credential, like a bachelor's degree. Any particular rules, or policies that help govern this particular community. So in medicine, for instance, they have HIPAA, and everyone needs to sort of adhere to that, or risk getting sued. Lawyers have a certain code of conduct that they have to follow. Also, in the judicial system, there are certain rules. You have, any workplace, there's going to be some kinds of rules or policies or norms that organize that particular community. Then you have the subjects, so those who are actually part of this discourse community. So you've already done some writing about that, so you can kind of list some of the typical players that you imagine in your discourse community. And that, I believe, completes the entire circle. So you will be presenting to your groups your discourse community map, where you can start talking about this particular community. After this, our next goal will be to identify a particular problem that you would like to explore further. And this is where research will come into play. And then also you'll be interviewing an expert or a professor or member of the discourse community that you're interested in.